history. Bentinck inaugurated an era of social reforms. Comment. Social reforms of Lord Bentinck. Among all the evils that prevailed in the Indian society, the cruel practice was sati. Lord Bentinck called not tolerate such an inhuman act. Anyone who forced a woman to perform sati would be given capital punishment. Abolition of female infanticide. Another evil practice that existed among the tribes of Rajputana and Kathiawar was female infanticides. The wild tribes of Orissa followed the practice of human sacrifice to please their gods and goddesses. Lord Bentinck declared that any person who practiced this barbarous act would be treated as a murderer. Suppression of thugs. The thugs were a gang of robbers who lived in central India. They used to loot and plunder. They robbed the innocent travelers and put them to death. Lord William Bentinck decided to stop this evil practice. Under Major Sleeman, a new department was set up to suppress the thugs. The Lord William Bentinck declared that any person who practiced this barbarous act would be treated as a murderer. The thugs were caught in large numbers. They were either put to death or punished severely. Estimate the achievements of Lord Wellesley. British India Empire. The appointment of Richard Colley Wellesley as Governor General marks an epoch in the history of British India. He was a great imperialist and called himself a Bengal tiger. Wellesley came to India with a determination to launch a forward policy in order to make the British Empire in India into the British Empire of India. The system that he adopted to achieve his object is known as the Subsidiary Alliance. Political condition of India at the time of Wellesley's arrival. In the northwestern India, the danger of Zaman Shah's aggression posed a serious threat to the British power in India. In the north and central India, the Marathas remained a formidable political power. The Nizam of Hyderabad employed the French mint to train his army. The political unrest in the Karnataka region continued, and Tipu Sultan had remained the uncompromising enemy of the British. Moreover, the policy of neutrality adopted by Sir John Shore, the successor of Cornwallis, created a kind of political unrest in India and greatly affected the prestige of the English. His non-intervention policy contributed much to the growth of anti-British feelings. Further, Napoleon's move for an eastern invasion created a fear among English statesmen. It was in this light that Wellesley molded his policy. Preservation of British prestige and removal of French danger from India were Wellesley's twin aims. The subsidiary system. The predecessors of Wellesley concluded alliances with Indian princes like the Nawab of Oudh and the Nizam of Hyderabad. They received subsidies from the Indian rulers for the maintenance of British troops, which were used for the protection of respective Indian states. Wellesley enlarged and consolidated the already existing system. However, his originality was revealed in its application. Estimate of Wellesley. An unscrupulous annexationist and an advocate of forward policy, Wellesley was one of the greatest empire builders that England had ever produced. Wellesley converted the British Empire in India to the British Empire of India. The establishment of British permanently in India was his supreme task. He located the weak spots of the Indian powers and applied his political techniques, namely subsidiary alliance. By the annexation of Karnataka and Tanjore, he paved the way for the formation of the Madras Presidency. He rightly deserves to be called the maker of the Madras Presidency and the creator of the province of Agra. In this manner, a great part of the Indian subcontinent was brought under company protection. He turned the East India Company from a trading corporation into an imperial power. Critically examine the annexation policy of Lord Dalhousie, doctrine of lapse. Every Hindu has a right to adopt a male child as heir in the absence of a natural heir. The adopted son enjoys all the rights and privileges. He shares all the responsibilities as a natural heir to his father. In the beginning, the English accepted this right to Hindu native rulers without any hesitation. When Lord Dalhousie became the Governor General, he used the doctrine of lapse to extend the British power. There were three categories of Indian states at this time, namely creations, dependents, and independent states. Creations. They were created by the English. The rules of these states were not allowed to adopt heirs to their thrones. Dependents. The rulers of these states were free to adopt their heir, but the heir could succeed to the personal property only and not to the throne. To succeed to throne, they were also asked to seek permission of the British. State annexed under this scheme. Applying the doctrine of lapse, Dalhousie annexed Satara, Jaipur, Sambalpur, Nagpur, and Tansi, Nagpur of these Satana, Nagpur, and Tansi were important ones. Whose annexation was not justified? In the Great Revolt of 1857, Rani Lakshmi Bai of Tansi took a dreadful revenge for the loss to her throne. She massacred every European who fell into her hands. Results of the doctrine of lapse. The English earned the displeasure of the India rulers who became victims of this policy. They became strong enemies. It was one of the main causes for the revolt of 1857. The doctrine of lapse spread a wave of hatred against the English. There was a constant fear among the Indian rulers. They feared that their kingdom would be annexed. The people also began to hate the English. They preferred the native rulers. The doctrine was considered as a violation of Hindu law, which permitted adoption. Examine the causes for the revolt of 1857. The revolt of 1857, though completely suppressed, had shaken the very foundations of British rule in India, for the simple reason that the revolt exhibited the popular character. It brought together disgruntled sections of society to rise against the British rule. The common people rose up in arms, often fighting with spears and axes, bows and arrows, lathis and scythes, and crude muskets. However, this civilian revolt was not universal, but sporadic and inconsistent. Nevertheless, it added a new dimension to the character of the 1857 revolt. Another significant aspect of the 1857 revolt was the Hindu-Muslim unity. As far as the effects of the revolt are concerned, it has brought about fundamental changes in the character of Indian administration, which was transferred from the East India Company to the Crown by the Queen's proclamation of 1st November 1858. At the same time, the Governor General received the new title of Viceroy. Lord Canning had the unique opportunity to become the Governor General as well as the first Viceroy according to the Act of 1858. Lord Canning proclaimed the new government at Allahabad on 1st November 1858 in accordance with the Queen's proclamation. The latter has been called the Magna Carta of the Indian people. It is disclaimed any extension of territory, promised religious toleration, guaranteed the rights of Indian princes, and pledged equal treatment to her subjects, Indians and Europeans. Raja Ram Mohan Rai was the father of Indian Renaissance. Discuss. Raja Ram Mohan Rai established the Brahma Samaj at Calcutta in 1828 in order to purify Hinduism and to preach monotheism. He is considered as the first modern man of India. He was a pioneer of socio-religious reform movements in modern India. Born in 1772 in the Hooghly district of Bengal, he inculcated a brilliant freedom of thought and rationality. He studied the Bible as well as Hindu and Muslim religious texts. He had excellent command over many languages, including English, Sanskrit, Persian, Arabic, French, Latin, Greek, and Hebrew. In 1815, he established the Atmiya Sabha. Later, it was developed into the Brahma Sabha in August 1828. Through this organization, he preached that there is only one God. He combined the teachings of the Upanishads, the Bible, and the Quran in developing unity among the people of different religions. The work of the Atmiya Sabha was carried on by Maharishi Debendranath Tagore, who remained it as Brahma Samaj. He turned the Brahma Samaj into a leading social organization of India. Estimate the role of Mahatma Gandhi in the Indian freedom struggle. In 1920 BG, Tilak died. Gandhi became the leader of the Congress. The second phase of our freedom movement saw a new beginning and awakening among the people of India. The advent of Gandhiji to Indian politics brought a great enthusiasm and pride among the people. Gandhiji, who is known as father of our national, advocated a new technique in our freedom struggle called Satyagraha, a movement based on truth and non-violence. The movement was started in 1920, but Chauri Chowra in Uttar Pradesh on February 15, 1922, a procession of peasants was organized. In order to achieve complete independence for India, Gandhi started civil disobedience movement in 1930. The British government levied a tax on common salt used by millions of people. It hit the poor hard. The civil disobedience movement was started on 12th March 1930. In 1932, when Gandhiji was in jail, the British Prime Minister Ramsay MacDonald announced a scheme known as the Communal Award. It provided separate electorates for the minorities and the depressed classes. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the leader of the deprived classes, accepted it. Gandhiji protested against this and went on a fast unto death. Write an essay on the Renaissance movement in Europe. The most important contribution of the Renaissance was the revival and learning of ancient Greek and Latin literature. The pioneer in this effort was Petrarch, 1304 to 1374. With his profound knowledge in these languages, he collected and compiled many ancient manuscripts containing the works of Plato and Aristotle. His disciple Boccaccio had also encouraged the classical learning. Many Greek scholars who came from Constantinople spread the ancient Greek literature in Florence. The most notable among them was Manuel Chrysalis. Another scholar, Praxialini, traced the works of Tacitus, Livy, and Sophocles. In the 15th century, Pope Nicholas V founded the Vatican Library, and the ancient manuscripts were preserved in that library. They were studied and analyzed by the scholars. The contribution of Erasmus, 1463 to 1536, in connecting and editing the Latin works was also notable. He edited New Testament in the Greek language. Write the causes and results of the Reformation. The Reformation led to two major divisions in Christianity, Catholics and Protestants. This division had resulted in religious persecution and religious wars in Germany and in other parts of Europe. People were encouraged to read the Bible and ponder on religion. The freedom given by the Protestants to interpret the Bible led to free thinking. It encouraged the development of art, literature, and science. The democratic church system paved the way for the growth of democracy and nationalism. The rapid progress of the Protestant religion and the Counter-Reformation ultimately resulted in the purification of the church. The Catholics purified their church establishments, and this in turn improved the values in the society. Analyze the results of French revolutions. The French Revolution. The French Revolution of 1789 inaugurated a new era in the history of the mankind. The ideas of liberty, equality, and fraternity spread to other parts of the world. The Bourbon monarchy was abolished. The revolution rejected tyranny, divine right, conservatism, and feudal vestiges just associated with the Bourbon rule in France. At the same time, it failed to establish a permanent republic in France. The French Revolution, after a violent turn, led to the emergence of a great dictator, Napoleon Bonaparte. What were the results of the Second World War? In this war, about 15 million soldiers and 10 million civilians lost their lives. An important result of the Second World War was that it brought to an end of the colonial empire of the European countries in Asia and Africa. Multipolar world became bipolar world. The USA and USSR emerged as superpowers. Cold War was started as an ideological war between USA and USSR. Globalization. The economic policy of India since 1991 proved to be a turning point in the history of Indian economy. In 1991, Indian government introduced a series of reforms to liberalize, globalize the Indian economy. These economic reforms moved towards the market economy and globalization. These policies of economic reforms were intended to integrate the Indian economy with the world economy. Liberalization. The restrictions imposed upon the private establishments to stop industries that were exclusively owned and controlled by the government were relaxations. This process began in India after 1991. After liberalization, the number of industries reserved for the public sector in India has come down from 17 to 3. The private sector is allowed to start steel, air, transport, shipping, heavy machinery, and even defense industries. Similarly, there has also been relaxation of all rules and regulations with regards to license. Permissions to import and export, price control, and marketing. Cold War and its impact. Even before the end of the Second World War, the Soviet Union had imposed communist regimes in the East European countries of Poland, Bulgaria, Romania, Hungary, and Yugoslavia. Immediately after the war, the Soviet Union brought East Germany under her influence. West Germany came under the influence of the USA. The Soviet Union blocked all roads to the west occupied zones in Berlin. This is known as Berlin blockade. Thus, a tense situation developed between the two blocks of the Cold War groups. The West was concerned about the Russian influence. The USA had then assumed the responsibility of containing communism. On 5th June 1947, the Marshall Plan was announced by the USA, by which economic assistance was to be provided to the Western European nations. The USA had then assumed the responsibility of containing communism. It was a step to save the European continent from the growing influence of communism. With the disintegration of the Soviet Union, the collapse of communism in the Soviet Union and Eastern European occurred. This marks the end of the era of Cold War.